What's up guys, Skippy Africanus here, and today we have a rather neat video. Now, I mentioned in a previous vid about being at a gun show, mainly looking for an Uzi, which they did not have, and then also looking for a Sega 12 clone, which again, they didn't have. Honestly, not a very abnormal event given the one rule of gun shows being if you want it, they don't have it. Anyways, while I didn't manage to get my hands on an Uzi or Sega clone, there were two particular items that I did manage to get my hands on. I was not looking for said items, but when I saw them, I quickly grabbed one, and the other I took a minute and then decided to get it. Now, what were those two items I got? Gold. Now, my iFunny subs know that I have quite the cartridge collection, as aside from collecting guns and magazines, I also do collect cartridges for the various guns that I do not, and in a lot of cases, probably won't ever actually own. But I've rarely gone over my collection on here, and I think today's a great day to start doing just that. So what did I exactly buy? Well, the ones I initially grabbed I won't spoil, as I'd like to have them in their own separate video. Though I will give you a hint, they are for one of the meta guns in Battlefield 1. The second cartridge, or cartridges, as I got 4 in a pack, were the ones I was a little more hesitant to buy. 35 Smith & Wesson Auto. Now, the reason I was hesitant on buying these was I'd never heard of the caliber, and while that hasn't stopped me from getting cartridges before, it has always delayed me, as I like getting the ones for the guns that I know about, but considering I'd never seen nor heard of that particular caliber, I said fuck it and grabbed it. You know, I figured maybe it's something cool, maybe it isn't, I'll take the gamble. It was like 10 bucks for the actual, for all 4 of the cartridges. And anyways, I buy the cartridges, and later on, after I got home, I began to look into exactly what they were. And that's when I learned that I had truly struck gold. As mentioned, 35 Smith & Wesson was something I'd certainly never heard of, and I'm quite certain it's new info to a lot of you guys hearing about it right now. I mean, I've definitely heard of, like, 35 caliber before and stuff, but yeah, these specifically, and mind you, their pistol caliber stuff, the 35 caliber stuff that I know about is more for, like, kind of like intermediate rifles and stuff like that, but I've never seen, like, a 35 pistol caliber, so it was definitely something weird. But anyways, I'm certain you guys are all curious, what exactly is 35 Smith & Wesson Auto? What guns chamber it, how rare is it, and lastly, what's the unique little feature that this cartridge has that many other munitions do not? Let's get into it. 35 Smith & Wesson Auto is a proprietary cartridge produced by, of course, Smith & Wesson. In general, it is essentially a rimless 32 ACP. Practically everything with this cartridge is the same as 32 ACP. Same bullet diameter, weight, same case minus the rim. In fact, the only real thing different from it and the standard 32 ACP aside from the rim is that they are a little less powerful, and not even by that much. All things considered, you can run 32 ACP in a 35 Smith & Wesson pistol supposedly just fine. At least that's what I've heard when I looked a little bit into it. Which, by the way, on a side note, on this channel, we've definitely experimented with some weird chamberings, and all I'm gonna say is I got 4 rounds of 35 Smith & Wesson Auto, and I own a 32 ACP pistol. And if you can supposedly fire 32 ACP in a 35 Smith & Wesson pistol, it does beg the question on whether or not you can fire a 35 Smith & Wesson out of a 32 ACP pistol. To which all I gotta say to that is, stay tuned. Now, another question, what guns, or rather gun chambers this unique cartridge? The gun that this cartridge was designed for was the Smith & Wesson Model 1913. This gun was Smith & Wesson's first attempt at entering the semi-automatic pistol market, and featured some very weird yet cool mechanical features that are definitely alien from handguns made today. Like, they had stuff like a rotary safety in the rear and a front-facing grip safety. They also had a disconnect that allowed you to rack the slide without fighting against any spring tension. All in all, very neat guns. However, it should come as no surprise that these guns never really made it big. Like, in total, they only made about 8,350 from 1913 to 1921, after which the pistol was abandoned in favor of a newer model and the much more popular 32 ACP. To which this does beg the question, though, why didn't they make the original pistol chambered in a much more common 32 ACP like everyone else was doing at the time? And this is where we get into what makes this particular cartridge special, aside from its weird name. At the time, there was a concern with barrel life when it came to using jacketed bullets. And much like the semi-automatic pistol itself, jacketed bullets were also still a fairly new tech at the time, and there were enough people concerned with it that it led Smith & Wesson to do something very unorthodox. You see, the upper exposed half of the bullet itself is jacketed. This was done as they were having issues with unjacketed lead ammunition getting deformed as it would go into feed. The jacket helped alleviate some of that problem. But below, however, is the unexposed area. There is no jacket right there, it's just straight lead that contacts the rifling of the pistol. In fact, you can kind of see it on some of these cartridges. Now, while while this was made to alleviate customer concerns, in the end it didn't really help at all, and if anything was pretty much why the Model 1913 flopped, and is really the reason many never even hear of the name 35 Smith & Wesson Auto. So anyways, I think that is gonna do it for this short little video on the 35 Smith & Wesson Auto cartridges that I got a while back at a gun show. I hope y'all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and especially stay tuned for a future video involving the 35 Smith & Wesson Auto, because fellas, we ain't done with this cartridge just yet.